Hello, travelers and monster catchers abound. I'm Stella Ferris, and you have crash landed on the Monster Catchers Journal podcast. Welcome back to another wacky episode of me telling you how I caught another glyph. And stay tuned. The twin suns never shift on Nibiru, never move, neither do the three moons. But that day the light still felt wrong, duller, heavy, like something underneath the world was pulling it down. We were moving through a collapsed ruin in the Stormscar Delta. Old metal structures half buried in sand and humming faintly like they were still alive. Then we heard it click. I stopped walking. Did you? Click, click. Zena grabbed my arm. That's not wind. No, it wasn't. It was too precise. The ground in front of us split open. A thin blade-like spike pushed upward first, smooth and metallic like a kunai forced through the earth. Then the rest followed, unfolding piece by piece. Wide, still ears, a long, segmented trunk, glowing orange eyes that snapped open all at once. It didn't rise like a creature. It assembled itself like a weapon. Then it moved. Click. It shifted itself and hopped, balanced perfectly on the ring at the base of its body, using the kunai spike like a pivot point. Click. Another hop, closer. Each landing echoed through the ruin like something hollow inside it was ringing. I didn't like the way it moved, not because it was fast, but because it was too controlled, too exact. Like every hop had already been decided before it happened. Orabik tensed beside me. The glyph didn't charge, didn't roar. It just kept hopping. Click. 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 And with every land, the air started to pull. Sand slid across the ground, loose metal scraped toward it. My boots shifted an inch without me moving. It's manipulating gravity, I said under my breath. Zena backed up slowly. While jumping? Yeah, and it's aiming. Tuskunai tilted slightly. Then it jumped higher. The moment it landed, the pole snapped hard. Everything lurched forward like the world had been hooked and reeled in. I nearly lost my footing. Don't fight it, I shouted. Move with it. Orabik launched, striking its side, but Tuskunai didn't stagger. It absorbed the impact, then hopped again, faster. Click, click, click. Each jump building force. Each landing tightening the pull. It wasn't just controlling gravity, it was charging it. Zena sent Myrna wide to the side, kicking up debris. Tuskunai's eyes flicked toward the movement for just a second, and the pull shifted. That tiny adjustment was all I needed. I grabbed my glyph, placed it on the ground, pressed the button, and waited. I placed the glyph on the ground. The pyramid cut clean through the warped air and struck between its glowing eyes. For a moment, nothing happened. Tuskunai froze mid-hop, balancing perfectly on its spike. Completely silent. Then the pole vanished, the silent hit, and its body folded inward like collapsing metal, dissolving into light as the pyramid device snapped shut. I stood there, breathing hard. Zena walked up beside me slowly. That thing didn't feel right. It didn't feel alive. I nodded, yeah. I looked down at the pyramid in my hand. It felt like it was waiting for something. And this is my glyph log for this time. Glyph log. Tuskunai. Type. Still. Gravity. Behavior. Precise rhythmic. Unnervingly controlled. Ability. Gravity step. Builds and redirects gravitational force with each hop. Movement. Travels by hopping on its kunai base. Each impact amplifying its power. Field notes. Unsettling trait. Tuskunai has no detectable breathing pattern, no heat signature fluctuation, no signs of fatigue. But what bothers me most is hopping never breaks rhythm. Not once, even when no one is waiting or watching. The sensors still pick up the sound. Click, 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 as if it's still moving even when it isn't. And please note, guys, that this is not part of the story. This is just what I gathered from the glyph as I gathered the information from it. So, let's get back to the story. Back at the sanctuary, I couldn't shake the feeling. Tuskunai hadn't just been caught. It felt recorded. Zena leaned against the console. You're staring at it again. Tuskunai sat in containment, perfectly balanced on its kunai base. Still. Too still. I want a full read, I said. I grabbed the Glyph Detector Gun from the rack. The moment I powered it on, the screen flickered longer than usual. That never happens. Okay, I murmured. That's new. I aimed it at Tuskunai. The scanner beam passed over its body once, then stalled, then restarted on its own. Zena stepped closer. Is it broken? No. The readings began to pour in. Fast. Too fast. Scanning. Species identification. Tuskunai. Forged variant. The screen glitched, then stabilized. Original trace detected. Location. Yukimori Valley. Event dual cataclysm convergence. Zena frowned. Dull. More text flooded the screen. Archived event log. Yukimori Volcano eruption confirmed. Yukimori Powerplant core meltdown confirmed. Environment state, atmospheric radiation saturation. Elemental interaction, lava, radioactive air. The screen dimmed slightly, then displayed something new. Mutation event. Native wildlife exposed to irradiated magma particulates. Biological structures destabilized. Metallic compounds fused at cellular level. Zeno's voice dropped. Animals turned into this? I kept reading. Glyph formation classification. Type. Forged glyph. Base form. Elephant-like fauna. Yukimori Valley. Transformation result. Weaponized organism. I looked up slowly at Tuskunai. You weren't born. The scanner beeped again. Structural analysis. Body composition. Organic plus metal hybrid. Core stability. Self-contained gravitational anchor. Locomotion. Impact-based propulsion. Kunai pivot system. Zena crossed her arms, so it became a weapon. No, I said quietly. It was forged into one. The screen flickered again, this time slower, like it was hesitating. Warning. Anomalous behavior detected. Subject maintains rhythmic motion pattern regardless of inactivity. Internal systems remain active during stillness. Possible dull state existence. Zena looked at me. Dull state. Right then. We both heard it. Click. We froze. Tuskunai hadn't moved. It was still perfectly balanced, exactly where it had been. Click. The sound came again from the scanner. I slowly looked down. The Glyph Detector Gun was registering movement, but not in the room. Secondary position detected. Location undefined. State active. My grip tightened. That's not possible. Zenobit whispered, There's two of it? I shook my head slowly. No. I looked back at Tuskunai. Those molten eyes stared forward, unblinking. It's still hopping. Update. Glyph logs. Tuskunai. Type still gravity. Origin. Yukimori Valley cataclysm. Classification forged glyph. Ability gravity step. Each hop builds gravitational force. True nature. Mutated elephant life form fused with metallic and radioactive elements. Field note. Unsettling trait updated. Tuskunai exists in two states. One that we can see and one that never stops moving. Even when contained, even when perfectly still. It continues its rhythm. Somewhere else. Click. 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 I turned the detector gun off. The clicking didn't stop. Zena backed away from the containment glass. Okay, I don't like that. Turn it back on. I hesitated, then I did. The moment the Glyph Detector Gun powered back up, the sound split. Click. Click. One came from the room, one came from somewhere else. The screen lit up again without me scanning. Automatic trace engaged. Secondary signal stabilizing. Syncing waveform. Tuskunai twitched, not a full movement, just a slight tilt. But it was enough. It's reacting, I said. The scanner began mapping something in the air, lines of light forming a shape that didn't belong in the sanctuary. Jagged terrain, a valley, smoke. Zena leaned closer. That's not here. I swallowed. That's Yukimori. The image sharpened, a massive volcano towering in the distance, its surface cracked with glowing veins of magma. Below it, ruins, a shattered power plant, twisted metal half melted into the earth. Live echo, Yukimori Valley. Live, Zena whispered. That place is gone. Another click, this time it echoed from both worlds at once. In the projection, something moved. A shape hopped across the scorched ground, tall, thin, balanced on a spike. My chest tightened. There's another one. But it came closer. I realized something worse. It wasn't another one. It was the same one. The movement matched perfectly. Every hop, every pause, every tilt of its head. Tuskunai in the containment room tilted slightly, and the one in the projection did the exact same thing. It's not two places, I said slowly. It's one stretched across both. The scanner glitched violently. Warning, original state unstable. Forged glyph may remain are bound to creation site. Environmental imprint not severed. Zena stepped back, so it's still connected to where it was made. Yeah, I stared at it, and I don't think it's supposed to leave. Tuskunai hopped. Click. The light flickered, the gravity in the room dipped for just a second, enough to make everything feel weightless, then slammed back down. In the projection, the ground cracked open beneath its landing point. It's getting stronger, Zena said. No, I replied quietly. It's getting closer. The projection surged forward, suddenly, like the valley itself was being pulled toward us. Or we were just being pulled towards it. Tuskunai stopped perfectly balanced, both of them. Then for the first time its eyes shifted, not at me, not at Zena, at the detector. Final read attempt. The screen filled with static. Then one final line appeared. Forge incomplete. Silence. Zena's voice barely came out. What does that mean? I didn't answer right away. I couldn't stop staring at Tuskunai, at the way it held perfectly still, like it was waiting for something to finish. It means, I said slowly, we didn't catch it at the end of its story. Another click. The projection flickered. The volcano in Yukimori began to glow brighter, the cracks spreading, the pressure building, and Tuskunai, for the first time since we brought it here, lowered itself to rest, to prepare. Click. Field note. Critical update. Tuskunai is not a complete glyph. It is a process, a living result of a disaster that hasn't fully ended. As long as Yukimori exists, so does the forge. And something tells me it's trying to finish what it started. I couldn't ignore it anymore. Forge incomplete. Those words wouldn't leave my head. Zena stood across from me, arms crossed. You're not seriously thinking about finishing it, are you? I didn't answer right away. I just looked at Tuskunai, balanced, still waiting. Click. It's not stable like this, I finally said. It's split between two states. If that connection snaps the wrong way, it could tear itself apart, Zena finished. Or worse. I turned toward the back of the sanctuary, toward a machine I swore I wouldn't use ever again. The forge chamber. It wasn't built for glyphs, not originally. It was something Orion designed, something meant to force evolution, force completion. We modified it, made it safer, but not safe. Never safe. Zena grabbed my arm. Stella Ferris, if this thing was made from a meltdown in a volcanic eruption, what happens when you finish it? I met her eyes. Then it won't be stuck anymore. That was enough for her. She sighed. Then let's do this right. We moved Tuskunai into the chamber. The moment it crossed the threshold, the detector screamed to life on its own. Dull state destabilizing. The projection of Yukimori erupted into view again, stronger than before. The volcano was more active now, the air thicker, the other Tuskunai clearer. Click, click, click. Both versions were moving now, in sync, faster. Start the sequence, I shouted. Zena activated the chamber. Energy surged upward, controlled, focused, wrapped around the Tuskunai like bands of light. It resisted. For the first time, Tuskunai broke rhythm. It slipped, just slightly. The room shook. Gravity distorted violently, pulling in every direction. at once. It doesn't want this, then I yelled. No, I said, locking my eyes on it. It needs it. I grabbed the control lever. Max output. The chamber roared. The projection of Yukimori overlapped with the sanctuary completely. 2 places occupying the same space. Heat, ash, radiation. I could feel it. Tuskunai let out a sound, not a roar, not a cry, a metallic scream. Its body began to change. The seams between metal and flesh fused tighter. The glow in its eyes intensified, no longer flickering but steady. Its trunk sharpened, segments locking into more defined structures. The kunai base elongated, slightly perfectly balanced. And then everything stopped. No pull, no distortion, no second sound. Silence. Tuskunai landed. Click. Just one. The projection vanished instantly. Yukimori was gone. The connection severed. Zena slowly lowered her hands. Did we just... Yeah, I exhaled. We finished it. Tuskunai stood there, balanced as always, but different. Before it felt like it was divided, and now it felt whole. It turned its head slightly toward me. Not sharply, not mechanically. Intentionally, and for the first time, the hopping stopped when it chose to stop. Final glyph log. Tuskunai. Type. Still gravity. Classification. Completed forge glyph. Origin. Yukimori dual cataclysm. Ability. Gravity step. Fully destabilized gravitational control per impact. State. Whole. No longer bound to origin site. Final note. Tuskunai no longer echoes, no second signal, no phantom movement, no split existence. But sometimes, when the sanctuary is completely silent and nothing is moving, I still hear it click. Just once. Like something remembering what it used to be, or something making sure it never becomes that again. The next day felt normal, almost too normal. I had just set out the last batch of treats. Small energy-packed cubes we use for training. When I realized something, there's only one left. That's when I felt it. 2 pairs of eyes on me. Orabeak, Tuskunai. I sighed, of course. Orabeak puffed up immediately, wings spreading slightly like, that's mine. Across the room, click. Tuskunai hopped forward once, perfectly balanced, perfectly still after. No fighting, I warned. Orabeak chirped sharply. Tuskunai didn't make a sound, it just clicked. Another hop closer. Orabeak darted forward first, fast, a flash of feathers. Click! Tuskunai landed right in front of the tree at exactly the same moment. The impact sent a tiny pulse through the floor, just enough to stop Orabeak mid-step. They froze. Orabeak leaned in. Tuskunai tilted slightly. Don't do it, I muttered. Orabeak pecked. The tree lifted an inch, then snapped sideways. Both of them blinked. The tree floated, hovered, then click. Tuskunai hopped once, the gravity shifting just enough. The tree dropped slightly into its trunk. Silence. Orabeak stared, offended, betrayed. Tuskunai didn't react, just stood there, calmly chewing. I crossed my arms. You manipulated gravity for a snack. Orabeak squawked loudly in protest. Click! Tuskunai hopped once, in place. I swear that one felt like it was on purpose. I should have known Orabeak wouldn't let that go. Later that evening, I set out another tray of treats, this time plenty for everyone. No drama, no competition. I turned my back for 2 seconds. Click! A soft hop behind me, then a sudden gust of wind. I spun around. Orabeak was midair, wings fully spread, stirring the room into a controlled whirlwind. The treats lifted, spinning, floating. Tuskunai locked on instantly. Click! It hopped forward. Gravity pulled inward, but the wind shifted. Orabeak twisted its wings, and the treats spiraled away from Tuskunai's pull, dancing just out of reach. Oh, this is revenge, I muttered. Click! Click! Tuskunai hopped faster, adjusting, trying to catch the rhythm. But Orabeak kept changing the flow, up, down, sideways. One treat dropped low. Tuskunai lunged. Orabeak swooped, snatching it midair. then landed right in front of Tuskunai. Silence. Orabeak tilted its head slowly, deliberately, and ate the treat, right in front of it. I covered my face. We are not doing this every day. Click. Tuskunai hopped once. The tray behind Orabeak shifted just slightly, and every remaining treat slid right to Tuskunai. Orabeak froze. I sighed. Yeah, we're doing this every day, I guess. You crazy animals.